It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, kind people? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You're checking out episode number 1006 of the RCWR Show for this Monday night of February 27th, 2023. Several minutes removed from a new WWE RAW. What did you guys think about the episode for this week? Feel free to sound off in the comments down below. Get at me on social media. Make sure, if you do anything, above all else, sound off by voting in our latest poll. We have it up on Twitter and we have it up on the YouTube community section as well. So just hop on over to youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the communities tab and you can vote that way. I will get into the results of that later on. You know, my overall snapshot of this week's Raw, it felt much, and this is weird because we are definitely a month plus into WrestleMania, okay? It's going to be here right before you know it, that WrestleMania. And we've got like a month plus to go, couple of days to go before we're there. But this episode tonight, it felt like a little bit of, I don't want to say lackluster, but I just wasn't feeling enough going into it because it's like, hey, we're here. It's WrestleMania season, dog. Yeah, we're near the finish line. Let's really get this popping, yo. All right, let's see why. You know, it didn't really feel like that, even with the whole mystique in the air surrounding Brock Lesnar and Omos, whether or not that was actually going to be an official thing. It definitely had piqued a lot of our interest in seeing whether or not this truly was gonna play out. And yeah, just only if I were to really, when I think of Raw for this week, it felt at most like a 2-match episode. Basically, there were 2 matches from this show for the whole 3 hours that really, okay, you know what, this piques my interest. I want to see exactly what's going to be going on here, as we got crowned new WWE Women's Tag Champions there in Lita and Becky Lynch, as they got help from one of my personal favorites, the returning Trish Stratus, opening up a nice big old helping of some Stratus faction. Ooh, well, yes, I love me some Trish Stratus, man. I love me some Trish Stratus. I've loved her for a long time, and she has gotten better and better. She has gotten finer with time. I mean, gotta quote one of my favorite Whisper song, it just gets better in time, right? Oh, yes. Just wanna tell you how I'm feeling inside. You got me walking on cloud number 9. You know that song if you know your old school songs, yo. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Pretty solid over here at my respected inn. I gotta tell you though, I was a little bit upset with the wifey. I gotta tell you, I gotta be all honest. I was very upset with the wifey because Saturday she hit me up. Enjoy this sidebar chatter for what it's worth, because we are doing a very short episode tonight, by the way. I want to do this maybe almost an hour strong. If I can be out less than that, that's great, but I only want to do this about an hour strong because really not that much has gone down since last I was on the air with you guys. So I just want to take it easy, just kind of pace myself, because really, man, when WrestleMania week gets here, you guys that's been with me for a long time, you know how our programming is on WrestleMania week. We pretty much have at least about 9 to 10 consecutive days that we do WrestleMania week going into after WrestleMania. So it's nice to just go ahead, have nights like this where, we can just ba-doop. So enjoy the side chatter for what it's worth, because once we get into the thick of things, we're pretty much just going to be in and out on that bad boy. But it's a little bit mad with the wifey. Over the weekend, I was at work and she hits me up with a text message after I said to her, hey, I'll see you at the usual time, and hey, can you bring me something to drink, mainly something hot, bring me some tea or something, because I actually had lost my voice again while I was at work. It was so crazy because we were having a conversation. She actually dropped me off work on Saturday, and we were having a conversation. Everything was good. If anything, I remember saying to her, man, I'm feeling like I'm having some slight chills, probably nothing. I go inside, and within about an hour, I lose my voice. BS you not, I lose my voice. Could barely get anything out there. So it was tough. It was definitely tough. So I sent her a text message a couple hours later saying, hey, see you at the usual time. Make sure you bring me something hot to drink, please, because I really, really need it. My voice is shot again. And she hits me back. She says, hon, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to pick you up at the usual time. Just go ahead and take a Uber. I'll get you back for it. I think I may have a really cool surprise for you. You're going to love it. I'm going, huh? Okay. So, of course, I don't really have time to think much of whatever the surprise is, what it could potentially be. So I'm thinking nothing much of it, but definitely I get my Uber on the way home. I'm thinking about it. I don't know what's going on. So get in the house, playing with my dogs. Next thing I know, I'm probably home for about maybe an hour. I get a text message from wifey because my dogs, they know when mommy's home because they start acting all frenzy, happy, or jumping up and down and that. So they hear her long before I can even hear. So they're jumping up and down, and I'm going, huh, okay, what's going on? And then I hear the sound of a bark. Not from my two daughters now. Not from my two furry daughters. No. This is a new bark. I've never heard this bark before. So I'm going, wait a minute. Is this a case right here where we have a new pet roaming around the house? Is there a new animal that we now have? Because I'm going, wait a minute. I didn't get that memo because we had already agreed upon that. We got our one pick of me. She's really getting up there in age. She's taking some medication for her heart because she has an enlarged heart. I don't even want to go into it because I might tear up on you guys and all that. But she's just having some health issues. But we started giving her this medicine regimen. We have to give it to her twice a day. It's like 12 hours apart from each other. So we got to give it to her. We can give it to her either 1 hour before or an hour after. So say, for example, if I were to hook her up at 2 in the afternoon, Okay, well, then the next dose, she doesn't have to take it, again, 12 hours, so she doesn't have to take it until at the earliest 1 in the morning, or we can go at 2 in the morning, or we can go at 3 in the morning. As long as she gets it within that respective time frame, it's all good and everything. And I remember, me and the wifey, we had a conversation. We were talking about, sadly for Chloe, all she has known is Maggie, the older dog with the health issues. And I said, man, can you just imagine how Chloe's going to be just roaming the house by herself without Maggie being around? When we kind of really get a good idea, we're really pushing the end. That's when we need to pull the trigger and bring a new dog in here. And we both agreed on that. Because, the way it's looking right now, if we're lucky, knocking on wood here, if we're lucky, we probably have about maybe 3. 4 is really pushing it. 5, I would be really, really surprised. We're on borrowed time as it is right now. I'm surprised Maggie has lasted this long. She still has her vision, her hearing. She still loves to play, all of that. She's just very low-key, very chill these days. But Chloe knows how to get her up and at 'em as far as playing goes. And, so we both agreed on that. So to hear the sound of a new dog roaming around, I'm going, wait a minute, I've never heard that bark before. We got a new dog? Next thing I know, I get a text message from the wifey that says, I'm in the house, but just all of y'all, just stay up there. Okay, sure, hon, no problem. About 10 minutes later, left out of the house, went to Noodles and Company. I'll be right back. It's safe for y'all to roam. Like, okay. And I'm going, okay, you'll go to Noodles Company. You don't even ask him, brother, if he wants some Noodles and Company. What's going on here? I'm very perplexed. Then about 40 minutes after that, she texts us, hey, I'm in the house. Feel free to come on down. I'm going, hey, all of us can come down now. It's safe. She goes, yeah, it's safe. Okay, cool. Go downstairs. And I'm like, I thought I heard the sound of a bark. Is there a new dog roaming around here or something? And she goes, no, but I do have a surprise for you. I'm going, okay, so what is it? You want to see it, or do you want me to tell you? I'm going, well, I'd rather see it. She goes, okay, well, you gotta put some clothes on. I'm like, okay, cool. So put some clothes on, like quick 2 minutes. Go outside, and I wish I could do the freaking voice from The Price is Right, because go outside, and I'm going, what the hell is going on with this new vehicle right here? Who the fuck is parked in your spot? Do we need to call a tow truck? And she's like, no. She's like, it's okay. This is our new car. I'm like, what? And that is when I was starting to get upset. And then I said, okay, so what's the deal? Give me the skinny. How much is this going to cost us? How much is this going to set us back by? I need to know, give me the skinny. And so she breaks it down. She did get it for, I won't go into the specifics, but she did get that bad boy for a phenomenal good deal. From what I was able to see, they did some really, on the inside, they did some really great customization to bring it up to today's standards. It's a brand new vehicle. It's a 2012 Volvo minivan. But on the inside, they did so much customization, putting in Bluetooth capabilities, Wi-Fi and everything. It is beast. Putting in a detector, letting you know when you're getting a little bit too close to something, your front, back, to your left and right. It's badass. Probably the only thing it does not have is the little camera, so you can hook yourself up easily when you're doing the parallel parking and everything. But other than that, badass. And so, I hear everything that she's saying to me, and it's like, okay, so what's going to happen to the other car? And she's known for quite a while that I've been very fond of the other car. You know, we've basically been sharing the other car essentially. You know, and she says to me, "Well, the other car, it's officially yours." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's officially yours." I'm going, "Oh wow!" Like, okay, that's cool. I bet. But I was mad initially because, and I, you know, it took me a few hours to calm down and everything. But, you know, I told her, I said, "Look, it's like, you know, this is a 50-50 partnership. Learn something from this now, because there's a very valuable lesson to this, right? And new couples are going to continue to go through this. I don't care how long you've been together. You're always going to learn something new as a couple, right? We may have been together for over 10 years now, me and Tams, but we're always learning something new. We've been married now for, coming up this June, will be for 2 years, okay? And, you know, I told her, I said, look, I said, it's all about communication. We got to make sure that we're on the same page. We, you know, because that's like the ultimate disrespect. And I told her, I said, let's be honest. If the shoe was on the other foot, if I had went out and did something like that, you wouldn't be a fan. You actually would read me the riot act. And she told me, she said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I didn't think about it that way. I said, yeah, it's like also, you know, what sounds like might be a really cool idea. Maybe there's some things that you haven't considered that, you know, you bring it to my attention. Well, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Did you think about this? Did you consider that? And sure enough, in the couple of days since, now she's going, fuck. She's like, yeah, you know, but it's like, hey, it's a done deal now. It is what it is. No refunds. So I told her, I said, look, new rule going forward. And she loved this idea. I said, new rule going forward. Anything that involves us dropping $200 or more, we got to have a conversation. We got to have a meeting of the minds, make sure that we both are on board with this, go over the pros, go over the cons, try to figure out that way, does the risk outweigh the cost, right? Right? Is the rewards more beneficial if we go ahead and pull the trigger on it or whatnot, right? So she nodded her head. She said, you know what? She's like, you're absolutely right. So that's okay. All right. We'll start doing that from now on. Promise. Got my word. You know, and we squashed it just like that. I always say, and I have said off and on this show for many, many years now, the best relationships, the most healthiest relationships are the ones where you have that great open dialogue of communication, right? And without that, man, you're not gonna last that long. I don't care how much wealth, income you got, right? What you got going on career-wise, you're not gonna last that long in a relationship if you don't have that communication going. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out, because I know there are some of you all are getting into your very first relationship, depending on how old you are, how long you've been checking out the show. Some of you guys, you're getting into your first ever relationship, maybe out of high school, college, or, you know, you're more seasoned vet, but, you know, you're experiencing some hiccups here and there and all that. Hopefully you find what I'm giving to you most beneficial and most helpful. The more you know, din, 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 whatever the fuck they do, right? Well, that crazy crap. So yeah, so we got that. And hey, did they do a new AEW Dark Elevation? We'll get into the card for that for this week later on. Congrats though, while we're talking about AEW, congrats to Tony Khan and them, because that big announcement that they were hyping up for about 5+ days going into last week's Dynamite, it paid off. They were able to get over 1 million viewers when it's all said and done. So congrats to AEW for that. I would imagine that a lot of people had tuned into that because they wanted to know what was going on with that announcement. They wanted to know if it had something to do with the streaming service, or if it had anything to do with maybe, hell, who knows? You saw the rumblings there that the Khans were interested in purchasing WWE. So for all we knew, people had tuned into last week's Dynamite thinking maybe they were going to hear some type of a acquisition from the Khan family. Some thinking, hey, maybe this has something to do with the video game. To the point, I said to you guys the very last time that we were here on this show, I was going to put a poll up. So for those that might have missed it, I said on the Wednesday show, which would have been episode 1005, I said, okay, I'm going to create a poll probably Thursday or Friday, and I'm going to simply ask you guys straight up, okay, in regards to the big announcement, what would have sufficed more for you? And I put this poll up on Twitter at the RCWR Show and on the YouTube's community tab. And here's the results. I'm looking at YouTube. This is the first one that I'm seeing here. Shout out to everybody that had casted their votes. With 6% of the votes coming in, we have a three-way tie. 6% of you said other. And I wrote in parentheses, clarify by commenting below, please. So for whatever respected reason, the people, probably 1 to maybe 3 people that had selected other that did not cast their comment. I don't know if this is a case where they didn't feel like commenting, but they went with other. Would have been nice to know what they were thinking. Coming in as part of that triple tie at 6%. If it was for their video game, that would have been really cool. And the other 6% to share in that three-way tie, I was okay with the announcement. 100% fine, I tell you. Second place with 13% of the votes. I was expecting an AEW streaming service announcement. And with 68% of the votes, it really was a bad announcement. No bull. So for those of you that had cast your vote via YouTube, appreciate you guys tremendously. To Twitter we go now. I remember I saw a couple of interactions here and there in regards to the Twitter poll. I pretty much gave the same options. I'm just trying to see, somebody had responded to that poll too, and I liked the comment that they had left. Let me see if I can actually find them, because I'm on Twitter right now. And let me see, is it maybe mentions? I bet you I have to do mentions. Yes, I found it under mentions. Cool. I was able to find it much quicker. Shout out to Rohan, who said, and I quote, they said it was a major announcement. Ended up being yet another, this reads bad. Hang on. Said it was a major announcement. Ended up just being yet another show. I think someone needs to show Tony a dictionary and get him off the coke. Twitter polling results now. Drastically different from what you just heard, because you just heard how there was a triple tie and all that, right? Check this out. Coming in at 5% of the votes, expected a game release date. Okay. 31% said, I was okay with the announcement, really. And coming in at over 63%, it was a really bad announcement. So to everybody that had casted their votes, y'all know exactly who you are. Appreciate that. Much love. Look, all said and done, Tony Khan, he got his 1 million+ viewers. What I'm very curious, and I'm sure many of you all that just love following the numbers, not so much the demos, but just following the viewership numbers and all that. I'm sure many of you guys are probably going, so let's see what happens with this coming Wednesday's Dynamite. Let's see how many people, like the carryover from the big announcement last week. Let's see what the carryover is going to be. And it's so interesting, because I know the analogy I had used about Tony Khan in the announcement and all that, and I had a really great analogy for it, but another analogy comes to mind that is not as long-winded. It's basically like your boss says, hey, there's a really important meeting that you need to be part of. We're getting everybody together. It's going down this Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Attendance is mandatory. And and the only thing that's covered in that meeting is I don't know. You think of it, right? It could be dress code, or it could be, and y'all are looking at each other like, man, you couldn't like maybe take a memo and put this in the break room, and and we all could just initial that we read it and pretty much do it that way, or right? I mean, that's like first thing that comes to my mind, basically. So, he's like the boy that cries wolf. Big announcement, huge, big, and every time you turn around, something just, okay, you got us again, right? But he's like the boy that cried wolf, because eventually, when you keep doing that, and then it comes time you actually really do have a major announcement, something huge is really about to go down. Yeah, you got us with that so many times, dog. Nah, not this time. But no, really. This is the real deal this go around. I'm serious, guys. It's like, yeah. We've fallen for this before over the years. Come on, man. We're not that naive. Come on. And, got to be careful. So I definitely want to see what's going to happen with the carryover from last week. That should be really the telling tale. And if they're going to be able to, what would be a win for them is if they were to take a dip from that million plus. For me, what would be, okay, you know what? Under all circumstances, this is a great carryover. If they lost maybe 50 to 80,000 viewers, I would look at that as, hey, this is good. From the announcement, this is good, right? Might not be a million viewers, but this is good. So have that going in the back of you all's head as we get ready to embark on Wednesday's AEW Dynamite and all. Don't forget, we got AEW Revolution that's going to be going down this weekend too. Apparently, it is going to be streaming multiple places. You got bars, you got restaurants that's going to be participating and showing the event. Your local theater is going to be showing it as well. So if you want to know, I just happened to check for my respective woods, and there's actually a couple of movie theaters that's going to be showing AEW Revolution. So once I find out how much it's going to be, I don't know, y'all. I think I might actually go and to the theater. I think I might actually go to the theater and check out AEW Revolution that way. Still do the post show and all of that, but I think I might actually go to the theater. So I'll keep you guys posted once I see definitively it will be available in my area, because as it stands right now, no times have been announced yet. They basically had said come back Wednesday, latest Thursday, we should have the information. If you guys want to know if maybe it's going to be playing at your local theater, restaurant, or bar, just go on the AEW site and you'll be able to find it that way. So look, let's talk WWE Raw. Let's get to these polling results that I'm seeing here so far for you guys, and y'all can continue to sound off about it, but good segue as we get ready to talk about Raw and everything. So thumbs up, thumbs down, staying in the middle. Twitter we're going to now as it stands. 10% of you are staying in the middle. Meanwhile, 35% of you gave it a thumbs down, and 55% of you are giving Raw this week a thumbs up. Shout out to you guys via Twitter that cast your vote. I'm going to refresh our YouTube communities tab here so I can see the most accurate votes in real time. And so far, again, early voting, so keep on voting. 100% of you via YouTube are staying in the middle for this episode. So, again, a little bit of bitter with the sweet here, right? We don't need to go pa-doop in a chronological order, just whatever comes to mind. Look, again, Brock Lesnar, Omos. You hear this being teased about 2 weeks ago or whatever, last week, whatever, and you're going, wow, this is so just out of the clear blue, because it felt as though, nah, man, the guarantee, definitely, we're going to be seeing Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley one more time at WrestleMania. So wait a minute, where the hell is this coming from? You know, it's the equivalent to you're listening to a really good album. Just picture your favorite album that you consider one of the best of all times for its respected decade or whatever, okay? I'm gonna go with in this case, because I was actually jamming to it earlier today, I'm gonna go with the Tribe Called Quest Low End Theory album. I think that was definitely their Beatles Sgt. Pepper album, okay? I think that was a major turning point for them. Their previous album, you know, they had already had hits, turn, and all of that, but that Low End Theory album, just from a production standpoint, the sampling that they used, the overlapping that they used with the beats and everything, I mean, they just really took the production quality up to another level. Hey, lyrics alone, they took it to another level as well. Phife Dawg really came in there fully committed to the tribe, whereas on the previous effort, pretty much Major Slackin' that was going down. He really wasn't even part of it. You know, Q-Tip was pretty much doing everything and all that, right? So let's say you're just jamming to that album, that Low End Theory album in my case, and then just all of a sudden, like, man, you know, every track, oh wow, and then all of a sudden you just get some track that, wait a minute, this does not fit this album in any type of way. It doesn't complement the rest of the band members. Sure, it might have this guy from the band that's doing XYZ, but yeah, this feels like it has no business being anywhere connected to this album. So throw it back to the wrestling. You see what I'm doing there? You see what I'm doing? So the album being WrestleMania 39, and you're just, oh, okay, yeah, this match, yeah, this match, yeah. Omos, Brock Lesnar. Wait, what? No. My track was supposed to have Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. What do you mean, Brock Lesnar and Omos? And kudos to Brock Lesnar for how he came out there tonight, his usual country boy, just a big old country boy with that nice little southern twang that he got going on now. I mean, everything going on with smiley face, country Brock. He's killing it. He's very charismatic, a very strong commanding presence that just has you, wow, I gotta see what this guy's gonna do. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I know something cool is gonna go down. And then you have MVP. Normally, I'm very pleased with the work of MVP. But this was honestly a very tall task for MVP in this segment with Brock Lesnar tonight, which was basically to sell the WWE fans on Brock Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania. And Brock doing all of his little bits, his parts, fine, totally fine. MVP stuff, I love MVP. I've appreciated the work of MVP for quite a long time, but I think in terms of MVP and how everything went for him, it was just overall dragging at MVP's end. No matter how playful, how funny, how charismatic Brock Lesnar was being, he truly did not have that same overall energy, that same overall execution coming back at him from MVP. And that was soul crushing to see, quite honestly. I was not a fan of that whatsoever. Even the stuff there with MVP sharing a drink there with Brock Lesnar at the end, and what was it that he was drinking, by the way? I'm trying to remember what it was. That it was some whiskey that Brock Lesnar had MVP drank, and he basically spit it up. Did MVP? He spit it right on Brock Lesnar's denim jacket and all that other stuff. And it's just kind of one of those deals where you're going, okay, I see exactly where this is going. And sure enough, he gets attacked by Brock Lesnar. I mean, you just knew that was going to happen, okay? Yeah, sure. Brock Lesnar may be saying, hey, man, I'm not going to attack you. You ain't going to go to Suplex City. You ain't got to worry about it, dog. You're okay. You're going to be all right. And yet still, it does happen to the poor guy, right? But I just felt that was a little bit too dragged out, not well executed. And I got to say, the overall impression, I don't know how you guys had perceived it tonight, but when you just look overall at the fact that, wait a minute here, what should have been this, and we're now getting this kind of as a consolation prize, I'm not really that keen on seeing this match at WrestleMania. And just listen to that crowd from Raw tonight. Listen to that Raw crowd. They were trying their best with the Brock Lesnar bits and all of that, and MVP, some little golf clap chatter here and there and all that, but the way it went down at the end, like just an overall wet fart, you're just going, man. So this is what we can expect as well from the Omos Brock Lesnar match, huh? Okay, cool. I guess. Now, some of you guys may be saying, well, and of all the matches on the WrestleMania card, that is the one I am most concerned about. But, if this goes down the way that I'm thinking it's going to go down at WrestleMania, this should be one of the shortest matches out of the entire WrestleMania weekend lineup. Seriously, I'm telling you, there's just no way, no how. Let me repeat that again. No way, no how that Brock Lesnar versus Omos is going to go anywhere near 4 or 5 minutes. I see that being at most perhaps a 2-minute job. I'd be shocked to see that bad boy hit 3 minutes, past 3 minutes. I'd be very shocked to see that. It should be one of the shortest matches out of WrestleMania weekend. They've got to do their very best to protect Omos. As I have said repeatedly, as early as the Awesome Con panel from, what was it? The Awesome Con panel from last year, so from 2022, with me, Julian, and Mish, I said in regards to Omos, like, this guy's got cinder blocks for feet. He's improving, but consistency is the key. You gotta have this guy on TV, on a regular basis. You gotta have him doing the house shows. You gotta have this guy putting in all the freaking work. You gotta have him. That's the only way one is going to get better, is if they stay dedicated and they just keep at it. And he's coming along, but wow, to be in a position where he's put in this match with Brock, my man still got flaws last I saw, which is very, very recent. Okay, very, very recent. So very concerned at that. Now, some of you all may be saying, well, okay, that's Brock. What's going on with Bobby? Well, we heard the rumblings about Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt supposedly going to be getting it on at WrestleMania. And it's okay if you haven't been checking out SmackDown on a regular basis. I raised my hand up. No shame. Hey, I'm definitely one of those guys. I'm not checking it out. And I've told you guys repeatedly, sadly, it's one of those cases where by the time I get home from work Friday nights, I've got to go right into prepping for doing live coverage of AEW Rampage. So most times, if I'm lucky, these days I try to at least catch the last 10 minutes of SmackDown. So I did see what went down there with Jay. Jimmy. No, Jay was there on SmackDown. I did see what went down there with Sami Zayn, Jay, I think Solo, Sikoa was in there too. doing all that, and they had jumped Sammy, pretty much in that show and everything. And SmackDown is going to be happening right here in DC, coming up live this Friday. I wish I could go. I gotta work. Literally, I gotta work a couple of jobs that day, 3 total to be exact. So I'm not looking forward to the evening gig per se, because I wish I could just skip the evening gig or gigs and just go right to the freaking is it even the Verizon Center? I don't think it's the Verizon Center anymore. What the hell are they calling it now? I don't think it's the Verizon Center. I think they're calling it something else now, but I wish I could remember the name. It'll come to me when I least expect it, but I would love to be there, because that SmackDown show that's coming up this Friday seems to be packing more firepower, has more interest than what we had got tonight with Raw. I am more interested in SmackDown. Now, some of you guys may be like, well, damn, what's going on? So not only is SmackDown this Friday getting Roman Reigns, but Cody Rhodes, who had spoken a segment earlier tonight on Raw, he revealed that, hey, okay, now that I know definitively who my opponent is going to be at WrestleMania, which is Roman Reigns, I have yet to have a face-to-face meeting with the tribal chief. And to hear that Roman Reigns is going to be on SmackDown this Friday, okay, that warms my heart. That warms my soul. Because you know what? I'm going to be on SmackDown too, because I want to personally meet face-to-face with Roman Reigns. So you're going, oh wow. So if there was ever a reason to, hey, you really need to go out of your way and check out SmackDown this week, this is definitely the show. So I'm looking forward to checking that out this week and seeing. I mean, they got some serious fireworks that's going to be going down there. I believe Rhea Ripley is supposed to be making another appearance on SmackDown as well. Dominic is promising he's going to be crashing the party as well, because he wants to pick on his dad, Rey Mysterio, some more. So, look, WWE Raw tonight, they did a really good job in bridging and setting up SmackDown for this week, enticing people why they should check it out, while also pushing forward with WrestleMania, building it up even more and more. So I definitely got to give him mad props from a lot of those standpoints. I loved how they opened up with the Usos. All things considered, one of the last burning images that you had saw from main WWE programming of last week was you had the Usos, the Bloodline, essentially minus Roman Reigns, getting a jump there on Sami Zayn and pretty much ending all of that. And then you pretty much go into tonight and you've got Jimmy Uso, who's there in the ring with Solo Sikoa, and they're talking all of their hot trash about Sami, and Jimmy knows that his brother Jay is feeling very conflicted and not really sure. Yeah, Jay did not attack Sami. I want to make sure I clearly let that record be known. He did not attack Sami. There was a from those last 10 minutes I saw from last week's SmackDown, there was a very weird exchange between Jay and Sami. No words were spoken. It was just this eye contact, the body language. It was almost kind of a, this is wrong. You know the right thing to do. Why are you procrastinating? That was pretty much coming from Sami to Jay. And yeah, it was interesting how all of that had went down. But so that was the last burning image. So to go into Monday Night Raw with Solo Sikoa and Jimmy following up on that, I thought, creatively wise, booking wise, I thought that was a very nice touch, as you did a really great segue going into setting up a tag match underway between those guys and the Street Profits. Street Profits coming up short. Sadly, I liked how they made sure that Angelo Dawkins was the one that ate the pin. You're kind of looking at that and you're going, wonder if there's an underlining going on here. just wonder. Well, we'll know a lot more after WrestleMania is over and done with, but nice way to open up the show. Nice fun opener with a lot of solid action for sure. A lot of solid action for sure. From there, Chad Gable taking on Cody Rhodes. I gotta say, this was the sleeper hit match of the night. Definitely need to give a lot of props right here. Man, Chad Gable, that kid can just go with the best of them. That young man, he can seriously hang, and I could have watched these guys go for another 10, 15 minutes. I loved the chemistry between these two. This was an absolute classic, in my opinion. A sleeper hit matchup. It really, really crept up on you there. You didn't know that it was going to be as good as it had turned out to be. And those guys were given a decent amount of time, all things considered. They got at least about 10, maybe 11 minutes. Never in doubt that Cody was going to pick up the win, but just the quality of the match that was going on there. Very, very good from both guys. Very, very good from both guys. I could have sworn Kevin Owens made an appearance. He did, as a matter of fact. If I remember correctly, Kevin Owens had delivered a couple of stunners post-match after Street Profits and Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. Yeah, I remember. It's coming back to me now. Yeah. Kevin's still pretty salty. Byron Saxton had caught up to him backstage, and he pretty much said the bloodline, it needs to come to an end, once and for all. But he also let it be known, without being very blunt about mentioning Sami Zayn by name. He pretty much said, look, it's gonna be done, and if I got to do it, I'm gonna do it. Right? Bloodline, they've got to suffer the consequences for their actions. There's so many people that want to see the bloodline fall, and he personally will not stop until it's done. He doesn't want, nor does he need help in making it so. But eventually we're going to see him and Sammy pretty much kiss, make up, all that good jazz. So, it's coming. It's coming. Remember what I said from last week? I said this has just that vibe of Shawn Michaels, HBK Shawn Michaels getting back together, after getting their asses handed to them so many times by the Spirit Squad. They finally reformed, and they're finally going to stick it right back, right? What did I tell you guys a couple of weeks ago? I said, I think I said to you guys, give this about 3 to 4 Raws before they reform. That's what I said to you guys. Asuka had faced Carmella. Asuka picking up the win. A very generic match. Nothing special, nothing spectacular going on here. You just looked at this match purely as them trying to give Asuka some type of momentum going into her match against Bianca Belair. But where things started to get a little bit, where are we going with this here, is the fact that post-match Bianca was called out by Asuka. And Bianca obliged, looking so fine in her attire tonight. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but Bianca Belair just looks so snackalicious. That's the most polite, clean way I can go with my words. I want to say, Rudy Tootie, homie on Tootie, but just put a B in there, and then licious, but I don't want to disrespect there. I'm gonna say just snackalicious. Okay, you're like, damn, honey stacked. She's a brick house. Woo, Lord have mercy. Certain attires that she wears, right? You don't really get that with certain in-ring gears that she's wearing down to the ring. Usually if she's just in her street clothes or whatever, you're like, damn, right, looking good and everything. She came out And Bianca pretty much said, yo, not sure why you called me out, not really feeling the tone that's going on in your voice and everything. And, look, you want to try to steal the show at Mania, you can go ahead, you could try, but you're going to have some problems. And two of them were just squaring off. Nose to nose. Next thing you know, Carmella with a nice little cheap attack from behind as she shoved Asuka into Bianca and then rolls out. It's kind of a nice little touch right there, but you're looking at that and you're going, okay, so have we seen and heard the last of Carmella trying to stick her nose in this WrestleMania event match that's going to be going down? Or has she moved on? And it would appear that maybe she has moved along, because later on we saw a segment where Adam Pearce once again was getting chewed out by Chelsea Karen Green. And Chelsea, she's like, I had no idea, she's still tripping over, going to the wrong city and everything. And lo and behold, Carmella popping up in there complaining to Adam Pearce about everything that had went down, and somehow he got himself out of there. And you saw Carmella and Chelsea having a little powwow, and it seemed as though they were hitting it off pretty good. So is this a taste of things to come? You all may have to say, damn you, Lee. What the hell, Lee? Because I kind of created this. I ain't seen nobody else talk about this weeks back. And I specifically remember saying, yo, in regards to Chelsea Green, because I remember when Chelsea Green was on social media, she's saying, I am not a Karen. And I remember being here on the show saying, well, look, if you're not going to embrace this and kind of come off as a nod and make fun of the Karens of the world, then you're essentially another Carmella. You're essentially another, it's like, do you really want to go down that path? Like, come on now. And so that right there was essentially the catalyst. Notice how I had mentioned Carmella and everything. And now we've got the two of them working together. So if you guys want to send me some moldy fruitcake this holiday season, you can do so. I'll make sure you guys definitely get a P.O. box. Piper Niven, Candice LeRae, yawn, squash match. No, not a squash match. Not a squash match. No. It's a less than 3-minute match. Candice LeRae picking up the win, getting a roll up, basically. Was what it was. Backstage, Byron Saxton had some questions for Johnny Gargano because he was up in a match. We'll get to that in just a hot little bit. Miz revealed that he's the host for WrestleMania. Seth Rollins comes out. Miz tries to shut the crowd up and everything. Seth Rollins, pretty much laughing at all of this. Nice little back and forth between him and Miz. Really didn't care for this segment, honestly. I really didn't. I just need Miz to go away for a while. That's where I'm at right now. That's just where the point that I'm at when it comes to the Miz character. What this was really all about was Seth Rollins and the surprise that he had going on, because he basically opened up a phone in the middle of the ring, sat in a chair, and he FaceTimed Logan Paul. And Logan Paul had actually picked up, and Logan Paul had looked on very confused as Seth told him he wanted to give him a call and was asking about Jake Paul. And Seth knows, he had a tough day and he presented a proposition. And basically he wants for Logan Paul to show up next week, and Logan Paul says, okay, bet, I'll show up next week. I'll be there, no problem. And that pretty much was the end of that, as Seth Rollins pretty much pulled a Rick James, bye bitch. So yeah, that Boston episode of Raw next week, that's going to be pretty damn good. It kind of feels as though everything that went down tonight, forget this town. Let's just do some basic stuff. But when we get to the TD Garden at Boston, oh, that's where we're really gonna lay it all out. We're gonna go thick and heavy. That's how it kind of feels like right now, I gotta say. Bobby Lashley in a squash match against Elias. Pretty much ended. My God, I don't even know if that was a 90-second match. Lashley physically looking very intimidating, looking as though he is not the one you want to be messing around with. And he's not a happy camper. He is still pretty salty about everything that had went down with Brock Lesnar and everything. And now you've got Bray Wyatt kind of sticking his nose there in his business, and he pretty much says to Bray Wyatt on the microphone, "Keep my name out your goddamn mouth, or I'm gonna hurt you." And as he's making his way up to the top of the ramp, we see a music video montage from Bray Wyatt, which is really worth going out of your way. If I could play it and not have to worry about getting a copyright, I would so play it for you guys. But it was basically, do the Muscle Man, right? It was a really hilarious video. I never chuckled so hard in my life. At this point, wifey was on the sofa watching it with me. We're just shooting the shit, and we're looking at this and we're just shaking our heads. It just, we're loving this. And it pretty much ended with a serious Bray Wyatt, close up of the face there, telling him to run, as Lashley is fuming big time. Loved it. I loved it. I wish we were going in the other direction, but look, the way this is looking right now with Bray Wyatt continuing to egg on Lashley, I mean, it is just like poking a starving bear that hasn't eaten in a few weeks. Dude, you're seriously about to get your ass mauled big time. Keep it up. Otis taking on Johnny Gargano. Not sure why. I know they're doing the whole pitch and trying to recruit Otis, the Maximum Male Models, Maxine Dupree. I know, but this was just kind of one of those with Johnny Gargano in the mix. Like, I'm not sure what they were trying to go for here. Very confused by this. Just somehow Johnny Gargano got to win. That much I do know. Somehow he got to win, but just all of that, I could care less. I could care less. I'm noticing that anytime Johnny Gargano is involved in something, he just brings it down for me big time. And it's just kind of one of those, okay, did we really need Johnny Gargano involved in this? Couldn't we just have it be Otis? And I was more fine with the backstage stuff that was going on with Otis, and we're continuing to fuse in, right? Some hokey dokey stuff is fine, and then other stuff is just kind of like whatever. Main event match. Good shit right there. We got new champions there. Remember, it was Damage CTRL's Io Sky, Dakota Kai defending the women's tag titles against Lita and Becky Lynch, and looked as though final moments of this matchup, here we go again, Damage CTRL with the numbers on their side, pulling some shenanigans. Looked as though they were gonna pull in another upset here, but then all of a sudden Trish Stratus just comes from out of nowhere. Well, they kind of gave you preparation because they did play her music, right? She run down to the ramp, does a nice Lou Thez press to Bayley. Becky gets the tag in there to Lita, clothesline to Io, setting her up and everything. Lita connects with a twist of fate to the corner. Lita's trying to climb up on the apron. Bayley tries to stop her. Trish pulls her down. Dakota is trying to do a little something too, but she gets negated as well. Lita pulling off that moonsault while Becky Lynch had a disarmor. I'm trying to remember who she had the disarmor on, but it's not coming to me right now. But Lita pulling off the moonsault. Lita, I gotta say, Lita looked a little rough in a few areas. Looked very spotty. Hopefully that shit can tighten up real quick. They got about a month to go, so hopefully that shit can tighten up. But this felt, if I were to really describe this for you guys, this did not per se, even though we got new tag champions crowned, this felt more like, hey, what you just witnessed here is, essentially a pre-WrestleMania moment. Even though you're watching this on Monday Night Raw, you kind of felt as though with what you were watching here, pre-Mania moment, but also a prelude to possibly what is going to close out. I think it's been announced. I'm not sure, but I think it's been announced the main event for night one. I think that's going to be Cody and Roman, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I think we'll have the official card as we get a little bit closer in a couple of weeks, but I know one of those nights there's, okay, what are we going to do here? So you can always go the tag route, and I think in this case, I dare say, I believe this is exactly where we're going to be heading. I believe that if it's not night one, then night two, I believe these girls are going to close out with this respected match and everything. So for it to basically come down to a 6-woman tag match, I'm down with that. I'm down with that, especially if it means that Lita is going to stick around for a little bit, post WrestleMania, if she's maybe gonna stay with them just long enough to go up to WWE Backlash and maybe drop the tag titles that way, I totally would be fine for that. But Lita has definitely, I was a little heartbroken with what I was seeing from Lita because the shit was just very spotty. Very spotty. Again, I hope she can tighten it up in a few weeks and everything. Otherwise, it does need to be a very short reign. The tag match itself was just, it was mediocre at best, but adding in that Trish Stratus element and everything, that made it a really cool moment. But again, it felt as though, okay, we got to build something here for the women. We got to build a really good main event for Mania weekend. And it kind of felt like that's what you were watching more go down here from this episode. So a bit of a lackluster episode, maybe a bit underwhelming per se, you could use. It wasn't a terrible episode. It wasn't one of those episodes where you go, I can't believe I tuned in to watch this shit. It wasn't kind of one of those, but it wasn't hard hitting. You feel where I'm coming from, especially given how close we are to WrestleMania. But the major highlights for sure: Cody taking on Chad Gable. Brock having fun in that segment for what it was worth, even though he really wasn't. It truly didn't live up to how, that would have been more entertaining, I think, if that would have been Paul Heyman, or if that would have been put anybody else in there, and it definitely would have been more entertaining. But with MVP, it just, very, very flat, very flat. Going back, looking at the polling results one more time, seeing what you guys had to say about WWE Raw. Excuse me, guys, seeing if there's any updates. By the way, I tried Yeah, results are still the same via Twitter. I'm going to refresh the browser for our YouTube community poll. Guess what I tried for the very first time tonight in my entire life? As far as I'm aware, I tried for the very first time and pizza. I know you guys have heard of that franchise. Very good. Very good. I definitely highly recommend them. I had their unique take on a chicken bacon ranch pizza. Boy, did they load it up with the peppers, man. I was not expecting peppers. There's a significant amount of peppers that they had on there, but it was very good. I mean, very spicy, but it was definitely pretty good. Polling results are still the same, so FYI for you guys. But for those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand on the downloads, keep on voting. Keep on voting. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I definitely will be eating there. Not a lot, but I'll definitely put them into my repertoire at least once a month, maybe twice a month. If you guys have been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, make sure you smash that like button and click all notifications on the bell so you know about new content that comes your way on a regular basis. Quick programming notes. Actually, we'll get into the programming notes a little bit later on for you guys. We'll get into that later on. I do want to give you guys a heads up, though. And I'm okay going an extra couple of minutes. We're not going to do a 90-minute show. So I see at this point we're at about the 1 hour, 5-minute mark. Let's go about maybe 5 more minutes, 10 minutes at most, and then we'll definitely call it a night. But some quick wrestling little news tidbits that I want to mention to you guys. One, WWE Hall of Famer, Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, superstar Billy Graham. He is in the roughest position right now, and a close friend of his had created a GoFundMe. So those of you that are able to contribute, you're able to do so. Have at it. Apparently, it's sad when you hear stuff like this. And Billy Graham is somebody, as long as I have been on the air, and I've been doing this now since 2011, it's almost one of those, damn, when has Billy Graham not made the news and something bad's kind of happened to him? So for the wrestling legend here and superstar Billy Graham this go round, in case you guys aren't aware, he's been dealing with some significant health issues, ear infection, bronchitis. I mean, just left and right, he has been dealing with some type of a health issue, and the past couple of years it's definitely been very rough for the guy. And how worse has it gotten? Well, it's gotten so bad that at one point he had checked into a clinic and then checked out, and then had to check himself back in. That's what's currently going on with him, with the ongoing health problems. Too many to name. You can find out what all is going on by checking out his GoFundMe. But apparently they have been paying like over $200-something a day out of pocket for the superstar at the current clinic where he's at, and money is starting to run out. His wife, unfortunately, she's been working full time in order to pay the bills, take care of the medical expenses, and she and superstar Billy Graham, they had came down with COVID. Both of them had came down with COVID to top all the other stuff out. And his wife has been out of work for so long because of the COVID, but now she's reached a point where she's run out of sick time. She doesn't have any more sick leave, no more PTO, none of that. So she's not being paid while she's out right now. And I know a lot of you guys can definitely relate to that. I know I personally can relate to that. I've been there. I've done that routine. I know how it is. You almost feel bad when you get sick, because it's like, God damn, it's like, I guess I won't tell nobody I'm sick because I need this money. It's almost kind of like when you get to that point, it's time for you to go find something else to do. job-wise, right? But yeah, just a lot of unfortunate things is going on with them. So they're trying to see if they can raise about $25,000 to cover medical expenses and all of that. So for those of you that are able to contribute, have at it. And look, if you're not able to contribute, just do the next best thing, especially if you got your social media platforms. Just share the information, right? I know a lot of you guys, you got your nice little wrestling circle of friends online. Share it with them, and hopefully, it'll find that person that is willing to come out of their pocket because they do happen to have it and they don't mind giving and chip in from there and all that. But yeah, when I had saw that story, it definitely broke my heart. I want to mention this one time and one time only. I'm not going to mention it again on the Wednesday show. I see that for the past 2, maybe 3 shows, there's been a person that's been popping in the chat, and they keep mentioning the fact that, Kenny Omega and MJF, they're going to WWE in 2024, And look, it would be so easy for me to do a clickbait video about. I see the guys. I'm not mentioning them to throw shade at them, right? I respect the hell out of what these guys are doing, right? Because when it's all said and done, they're just trying to stay on top of whatever is news, rumors, all of that, speculation, all of that crap, right? And I get that, okay? But you guys have probably seen it by now. This stuff about MJF and the bidding war of 2024, and he's doing all of this stuff, and a lot of people are under the impression that MJF is in fact going to be going to the WWE in 2024, while there are those that believe no, for all intents and purposes, MJF has already worked out a deal where he's going to be staying with Tony Khan in AEW for the foreseeable future. He's going to be with them for many years to come. And then you hear the stuff about Kenny Omega. 40-year-old Kenny Omega, where it said WWE has a lot of interest, and they see what basically happened with Cody, and they want to try to make lightning strike again and see if they can do a little something there with Kenny Omega. Well, here's the thing in regards to Kenny Omega. Even if the stuff with Kenny Omega, say it's true that WWE wants to do something and try to see if they can get Kenny Omega. Well, sadly, because Kenny Omega was out for damn near 10 months recovering from an injury, Tony Khan, AEW, and them, they decided that, okay, well, you know what? Hey, yeah, your contract may have expired. It may be getting ready to expire. That's the word on the street. That's what's happening in the whispers there in the wrestling community. But hypothetically speaking, okay, his contract, it's about to expire, whatever. If Tony Khan and crew did decide, okay, you know what? Yeah, nah, man, your contract may be getting ready to expire and all that, but you're healthy now and you're gone for damn near 10 months. We need that time back. So we're going to tack on 10 months because, you owe it to us. We got to get that back. Okay, so there goes all of 2023. So you're shooting right into 2024. But then even at that, it's not official on whether or not Kenny Omega is in fact going to make the jump to WWE. I say this, and I say this with passion. Take what you hear with a grain of salt. There is so much great wrestling that is going on right now from various promotions, great story arcs that's going on. Focus on what's happening in the here and now and enjoy the here and now. And don't get so caught up on something that, honestly, I don't control, you don't control, we don't control as a wrestling community. That's the best advice I can give, because if you get so caught up and, but this report, rumor has, if you get so caught up in that, man, it's a bad rabbit hole to go down. It's a very bad rabbit hole to go down. I've come across a few people that, over the years, all they do is engulf, the wrestling rumors and take it as a matter of fact, rather than, hey, there is this report, say if it were true, what do you make of that? And it's very unfortunate that, the way it's operating right now, we got a lot of folks that's just jumping out there and, speculation on that. It's a matter of fact rather than, hey, let's just take it for all it's worth, a rumor. And as a result of it being a rumor, let's treat it as speculation and let's expand on that speculation. And let's just, right? It's okay to talk about rumors. So as long as you clearly define that, okay, this is a speculation that is running about, but yeah, so that's the only time I'm going to mention that. So to the person that has been popping up in the chat room for the past 3 consecutive shows about Kenny Omega and MJF, hopefully you stuck around long enough to hear that. I'm not singling you out in a negative way or trying to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to educate you and everybody else. Be a little bit hipper. Be a little bit on your P's and Q's when it comes to stuff like that. So we'll end it on this note. There was something else I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. It escapes me right now. You guys got to forgive me. But Jeff Hardy's case relating to his June 2022 DUI, that has reportedly been closed after he pled no contest to the charges. Shout out to the good folks over there at Fightful. They were among the first to put this report out as the Volusia County clerk of Circuit Court records revealed that the case was closed last Thursday. Remember, he was arrested in Daytona last year and charged with driving while under the influence, driving while license was canceled, suspended, revoked, violation of restrictions placed on a driver's license, and DUI, alcohol, drugs. Third offense. It was his third offense within 10 years. AEW, they had suspended him without pay following the arrest, noting that he would be eligible to return, he would be lost my place here. Give me a second here. That he would not be eligible to return until he completes rehab and successfully maintains his sobriety. So, according to the court records, a motion to suppress the breathalyzer results was filed on February 21st due to unreliable breath test results. The motion noted that Hardy's breath test did not comply with the FDLE's requirements established in FDLE's administrative rules to ensure reliable quantitative breath tests, and that there is insufficient probative evidence that the breath tests in Mr. Hardy's case were performed substantially in accordance with the methods approved, yada, 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 yakety smackety. Hardy then signed a written plea deal on Thursday in which he pled no contest to all 3 charges. He has been credited for 38 days in jail and is on probation for 24 months with a $4,000 fine plus $586 in court costs. Meanwhile, Hardy's driver's license, well, that's been suspended for 10 years along with vehicle impoundment for 90 days and vehicle interlock device for 2 years. He is also listed as being required to complete DUI school or drug rehab program at community service. So look, when you break all of that down, that last part, it may sound a bit confusing to you guys. Understand this. His driving rights, okay, that's been suspended for 10 years. For 10 years, he cannot operate a vehicle. after that 10 years is over, he's going to have to make sure that his vehicles going forward have a interlock device. He'll have to push that for 2 years. The vehicle impoundment for 90 days, you see, that's the thing. That may have already expired, or that may have been, enforced. Sometimes you can kind of have some wiggle room, and okay, that's already pretty much been served. It's already been impounded or whatever. So do we really, right? It just really depends, right? But those first two are the ones that you really want to home in on, okay? And look, he's got to do the DUI, the drug. I'm going to call this for what it's worth, people. This is what a decent amount of money. And this is what, dare I say, when you have money and you have the right skin tone, I'm going to call it for what it's worth. This is what happens. This is what happens. Okay? So this was nothing more than a goddamn slap on the wrist. And I truly believe, my God, this guy could probably murder somebody. And he would probably get away with a slap on the wrist. I mean, this is the message that we're sending? Seriously? Like, this guy has gotten in trouble time and time again, and when it really counted the most, this is... I really take... I'm flabbergasted at this. I gotta admit to you guys. I really am, because it's like, wow. I didn't think we would even, for starters, I didn't even think we would get to this conclusion. We kept hearing so many delays, so many postponements, and then finally, you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But to see this, the finality of this, which is basically a slap on the wrist, I would like to believe Matt Hardy when he says, hey, my brother has made great strides. He has really improved himself. He's in the best shape of his life right now. Can't see what happens with this man on this new chapter in his life. I'm there. I'm rooting him. I'm his biggest fan. And I really do believe, Matt, at face value, I really do believe in him. I just can't help but, with Jeff Hardy, I just can't help but say, after everything that we've seen involving this man over the years, how long? How long until, right? Because it's like any day now, and you're looking at Jeff Hardy and you're going, well, at least he didn't pull a Tammy Sitch. Sonny Tammy Sitch, at least he didn't kill somebody yet, and hopefully it won't get to that point. But to just see that, you're just a goddamn slap on the wrist after all of that. If ever a person, no, man, you've been given so many chances, we need to tag, you're it. You are going to serve some serious jail time. Crazy. All right, so let me give you guys some quick programming notes as we get ready to wrap it up for the night for you guys. So I'll be back with you all Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. All right, so that's going to be a good one. In the way AEW Dynamite is looking right now, here is your card. Remember, this is the week that we're getting ready to go into the AEW Revolution joint. So let me see here. Give me a second here. I'm trying to see what's coming up for Dynamite. Hang on. I'm trying to remember here. Nope. Hang on. Let me try this. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I won't. But let me see here. Because we got a new Dynamite on Wednesday, which would be the 1st. That would be March 1st. So hang on. I don't see the card for this week's AEW Dynamite. Hang on here. Huh, that's a first. That's a first. I don't see that. Okay, that's weird. Okay, if somebody wants to real quick jog my memory for what's supposed to be going down with Dynamite, feel free real quick. I'll buy you guys a little bit of time. But this week's AEW Dark Elevation, here's the card for this week. We've got the ROH Women's World Championship Eliminator match, Athena versus Danielle Camella. Diamante, Marina Shafir, and Nyla Rose face Maserati, Miss May, and Brittany Brooks. Meanwhile, Powerhouse Hobbs takes on Daniel Evans. The Kingdom versus El Sparks and Aguilar Agari. Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, and Isaiah Cassidy versus Ice Williams, Braxton, and Watson. Takesha faces Lee Johnson, and Emi Sakura takes on Rachel Riveter. That's your card for AEW Dark Elevation, episode 104 for this week. But as far as AEW Dynamite, hang on. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can find it for you guys here. I think I might have it for you guys. Bear with me here. I think I might have it for you guys. Yeah, no. I don't think I have. I think I have the card. I think I have the card for you guys. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Okay, so it looks like for this go-home show to Dynamite, or this go-home show for Revolution, Orange Cassidy takes on Big Bill. Tony Storm faces Rio. You got a Face of the Revolution ladder match. Samoa Joe's going to be on commentary. Participants in that: Takesha, Ray Phoenix, AR Fox, Eddie Kingston, Powerhouse Hobbs, Sammy Guevara, Action Andrade, Ortiz. Chris Jericho takes on Peter Avalon. You got a Casino Tag Team Battle Royale. Matt Hardy takes on Hook for the FTW Championship. We'll also hear from MJF and Bryan Danielson ahead of their 60-minute Iron Man match at Revolution. So that is what all is going to be going down on this Wednesday's Dynamite. So I'll be live at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Wednesday night after Dynamite goes off the air. So if you guys are around, definitely come hang out. We'll talk about the show, all that good stuff. New names comes. Who joined WWE? That name is Andrade, joined WWE. Ramit, again, you're going off of a rumor. All right, so Ramit and everybody else, if you're new to the channel, let me tell you how this works, okay? Again, no shade on some of the other people that's out there. We don't butter our bread and butter talking about rumors and spending several minutes on rumors that are, hey, supposedly this person signed, or very seldom do we really go into the weeds of those things. This show, we tend to stick more to just, okay, officially, what's the facts that's going on here? You know what? So for example, we just had a WWE RAW, so we talked about that. We talked about what's going on with superstar Billy Graham. We just talked about Jeff Hardy. So we're dealing with things that are of actual substance. Like, okay, these are the facts. These are nothing but, okay. In case you haven't really caught on by now, which a lot of the fans really appreciate, we don't spend all that time doing a whole show dedicated to talking about rumors, speculations, and there's other people that can pretty much do that. And look, some of the people that do that, they're very entertaining in the way that they do that. Now, if it were me, and I'm just on YouTube and I'm just dropping by somebody's channel and I like the way that they're talking, and maybe I want to know what they think about a certain thing. It's one thing if I were to hit up that person on the show. It'd be one thing if I hit them up and I said, hey, I've been seeing this report about, in this case, Andrade. He's set to return to WWE. Hey, my question for you, if it were true, how would you like to see Andrade used in WWE? Okay, now that I can actually sink my teeth into, because we've already let it be crystal clear that, okay, you're admitting, hey, you've seen a report, and hypothetically speaking, if this person were to return to this company, or if this person were to work for this company, you're asking me for my personal opinion now. Okay, then I can bounce off of that. But to just do a whole show where, hey, rumor has it that Jon Moxley has been cheating on Renee Paquette. Apparently, he's been hanging out with Dasha Fuentes. Like, I'm not going to comment on some shit like that, right? Or, hey, man, Micro Man, he's no longer working for AAA and the other Mexican promotions. Rumor has it he's going to be going to WWE. It's kind of like, I'm not going to spend 5-10 minutes talking about Micro Man. Okay, you can forget that. No way, no how. We don't operate that way. So I'm sorry for the established folks that had to sit in, but sometimes you just kind of have to let the newer folks know, look, this is how we roll. And look, if you want to be part of that ride, hey, you're more than welcome. If that ain't your cup of tea, hey, many people come, many people go. All these years later, we're still here. We're still doing our thing and doing it well. And we're going to keep on doing our thing. That's how we roll. One more time, I got to do a nice plug for Wild Women of Wrestling. If you guys did not get a chance to check out my conversation with Foxxy Fierce, go check it out when you guys get a chance. It was really awesome. And I had talked about this on the WoW recap that was uploaded to YouTube on Monday. It was in the early afternoon. It was cool. I went on the WoW website. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there now, because I know Foxxy Fierce, there's like a couple other people that are trying to squeeze a interview out of her, with Black History Month pretty much, coming to a close and everything. I would imagine that some of these people saw the conversation and or read the transcripts that I had with her, and or it was a case where, they were always booked for an interview too. It just came a little bit later, but I would imagine I probably won't be highlighted on their site that much longer. But if you go on WoW's website right now, WOWE.com, at least at the time that we're live doing this show, February 28th now, 52 minutes past the hour. We're about 8 minutes away from the 1 o'clock hour, East Coast time. You'll see that Foxxy Fierce, our interview with her, it's featured on their site. As soon as you go on their site, it's like one of the first things that you see. Really badass. I was not expecting that whatsoever, so that was really, really cool. It made my day. It made my week. I'm going, hey, that is badass. Love that. And got some interesting WoW news for you guys too. I wish that I could have been able to share this news on the WoW stream earlier, but wasn't meant to be. Apparently, beginning March 1st, you guys will be able to catch episodes of Women of Wrestling on Pluto TV. And as many of you guys know that have ever spent the time to play around with Pluto TV, that bad boy is free. You don't need no credit card sign up. You don't need no email, none of that stuff. The only time you need an email is if you're trying to make sure that your playlist and all that is saved, it's optional. I mean, you don't really have to do that, but if something weird happens with the app and, you know, maybe there's a firmware update and you didn't sign in with an email, then sadly, whatever was on your list, you're going to have to go back, re-add all those things all over again. So I actually push an email just to make sure, because I had to learn the hard way. So I would definitely recommend, if you don't mind, put in an email. But you can watch tons of stuff on there for free. The commercials are very, very minimal. Very minimal, but you're able to go on there, have loads fun. But yeah, they have revealed that apparently on March 1st, WoW is coming to Pluto TV. So that is badass. That is freaking badass. So what I'm most curious to see, two things. I'm most curious to see if the previous seasons, like how they uploaded it to the CW app, and there's one other place that they had went to. I can't remember right now, but I'm wondering if they're gonna kind of give it that same treatment like they did with the CW app and all that, especially when it came to just dropping all of those lost episodes. But then the second part of me is wondering, what does this mean for new episodes? Are new episodes going to be uploaded to Pluto as well? So say, for instance, you get a new WoW in syndication this weekend. Well, what happens with those episodes for, you know, that same episode that dropped in syndication over the weekend? What happens to that same episode for Pluto? Will it be uploaded to Pluto before the weekend is out? Or are folks going to have to wait a day or two later? I'm sure that, trust me, now that I know what's going on, it's definitely going to be a talking point I have in wanting to learn a lot more about what's going down with Pluto in the next round of interviews that we're able to have with some of the folks from Women of Wrestling. So definitely stay tuned for that. Went a little bit into overtime. I did not anticipate that, you know, and really it had to do with breaking down how we operate on this show to newer listeners. So I apologize for that, because when I say I like to do a tight, small, condensed show, I really do mean that. So, but we'll definitely make up on Wednesday's show. But for now, that is going to do it. Get at your man on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.